Hi everyone, my name is Dee Roussel, also known as Deja, and today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. I think like everyone else has pretty much said in their videos, it is crazy that it's already been 6 months into the year. I don't know where the time has gone, but I'm just going to go with the flow and just hope that the next 6 months are going to be either as good as or even better than like the last 6. So the mid-year book freakout tag is a tag that's been around for a while. I don't think the original creator is on YouTube anymore, but I could be wrong about that. I watched a few videos, but I don't think I've seen any of them link the original creator, and so I'm thinking that they don't have a YouTube channel anymore. But since this is a staple, I thought this would be fun to still do, and I'll link a few of the videos that I have seen below, and if I do happen to find the creator, I will also link them down below. I've read 30 books and I think I've DNF'd like 10, and so I don't think I would say that this year has started off strong, but I think it is going along with like my goal this year. I am trying to read a little bit less because I want to focus on my writing a little bit more. Now, whether or not I'm actually focusing on my writing, that's another story, but I am reading less than I was last year to hopefully get more time to actually focus on my writing. And so my answers to these questions are going to be based off of those 30 books that I have read. None of the DNFs that I've had are going to actually be on there. But without further ado, let's get into these questions. The first question for this tag is the best book that I've read this year. And I've actually not had a new favorite this year. There's been like a few close ones, but like there's just little things that just wouldn't make me want to reread them. But I think the one that I would objectively give 5 stars is Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. I have recently just finished this and I cannot find like anything that I would change about it, but I wouldn't say that it's a new favorite. I think that this is such a strong story. I really enjoyed all the characters. I really enjoyed just like the overall premise, and I really like Akwaeke Emezi's writing. But am I going to reread this? I don't think so, and I'm not sure like why I wouldn't reread it, but I'm hoping to have like a more in-depth review when I do another recent reads. But for now, I would just say that this is the best book that I've read this year, only because like objectively I would give it 5 stars and I have no critiques. The next prompt is best sequel, and I actually have not read any sequels this year. I'm not a big series reader. There are some that I will read, but mostly those are like companion novels or something. But yeah, I haven't really been interested in any of the sequels for any of the books that I have read the first book to, and there's actually quite a few books that I've started that are in a series, but I just haven't continued on with it, and so I have no answer for this question. The next prompt is a new release that you have not read yet, and I actually have quite a few of these. I had a list of 5 books on my most anticipated releases that I released last year, and out of those books, I think I haven't read 3 of them, and they have released. I want to say there's another, like a 4th one. Actually, I think all of them have released by now. I'll have to like double check that, but at least the top 3 that I'm thinking about is House of Eve by Sedeka Johnson, Verity by J.J. McEvoy, and the last one out of that list will be Singing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton, and all of those are definitely on my TBR for the near future. And I think another one that I want to read, but it's not by a Black author, is just The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi. And I feel like this is a story that I'm really going to enjoy, only because I really enjoy Chokshi's writing, and so I will definitely be picking that up next year. Kind of along those lines, the next prompt is a new release that you're excited for the second half of the year. And I actually have quite a few that weren't on my anticipated releases books for 2023 because I just heard of them. So one of them is called Splinter in the Sky, and this is a sci-fi novel which I'm super excited to try out. I really want to get more into Black sci-fi, and so I am just so excited to try this out. The next one is called The Eldritch Trials, and I don't even remember where I saw these. I think I was trying to look up some more releases by Black authors in the second half of the year, and these just happened to come up on like a website. And so I'm very intrigued by all of these, and I don't know, I'm just really hopeful for all of them. The fifth prompt is biggest surprise, and this one I'm going to have to give to Red Roses and Regrets. And I have mentioned this in my recent reads from, I don't know, maybe number 3 or 4 or something like that. I forget what number I'm on, but I read this just on a whim. I really liked the cover, and I wasn't really expecting anything more than just like some drama, and I think I got a little bit more, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I really enjoyed the relationship between these two characters, Jasmine and Yakuba, and just the fact that I even remember their names just lets me know that I really did enjoy this story. And I really want to pick up more by this author, but yeah, this was definitely my biggest surprise because I really was not expecting to like it as much as I did, but I'm glad that I did. Kind of going off of that, but in the opposite direction, is biggest disappointment. And my biggest disappointment, besides like my DNFs, is going to have to be Love Bites by Katrina and Lewis. And this is one that I'm struggling with. I feel like it was just not the best thing that I've read by this author. And as you can see, like behind me, you see like this is from her Heavy is the Head duology, and that's the Heavy is the Head duology right there. And I actually did enjoy that series, the second book, a lot more than the first one. But like, I really think that the author is really talented in writing tension and stuff. And Love Bites is a novella that I just think it shouldn't have been a novella. I think the author was trying to add like a little bit too much in there, and it was kind of insta-lovey, and I don't know. There was a little bit too much in there, like in terms of like trying to throw in like a plot and also the romance for a novella, and it just wasn't working for me. But I will have like a full review also in that recent reads that I'm planning to film later on. The next prompt is a new fictional crush, and this one I'm just going to assume that it's for like romance novels or something, because I don't know, I don't really have a crush on characters, but I guess if I did have to choose one, or two I guess in this case, I would choose Fox from the, oh my gosh, I can see it in my head too. I just can't remember like what it is. I don't know. Anyway, it's going to be on the screen. It would either be Fox from that book, or it would be Yakuba from Red Roses and Regrets. And I think both of these, they're such opposite characters, but I think that with Fox, I liked just how awkward he kind of was. Like, he was just so many like one word answers, and that wasn't like necessarily what made me have like a crush on him. If anything, it was kind of annoying. If I would have been in that situation, I would have been like, why are you just giving me all these one word answers? But I really found it endearing when I was reading it. And Yakuba, I just really liked how like he just saw through Jasmine a lot, and neither of these guys in these stories I would ever want to date in real life, but I guess in a fictional sense, like it worked for me, and so I guess that would answer that prompt. And the next prompt in terms of character is newest favorite character, and I actually struggled with this one for a little bit, but I guess to answer this one, I would say Ike and Buddy from Razorblade Tears. And I have to say that this is kind of an interesting choice for me, only because I wouldn't say I necessarily love them, but I like their duo, like the duo together. And I don't know, I just felt like they were just strong characters in and of themselves, and maybe it's because I listened to the audiobook. I just liked following them together and just like watching them interact. Now individually, I don't think that they would be like any favorite character, so I'm glad that they had like the little dynamic duo between them, which is why they are my favorite characters of this year so far. But yeah, I would say Ike and Buddy from Razorblade Tears for that one. And then I have newest favorite author, and I don't actually have one. I feel like in order to be a new favorite author, like it has to be an author that I've read multiple books from, and also an author that I've read multiple books from that are in different series. I have a list of potentials, and that is Vanessa Riley, who wrote Island Queen, and while that wasn't like my favorite, I do think that the author has some potential of being a favorite author. The next potential is Dandridge Monroe, and this author has multiple books out in different series, and so I'm hoping to try one soon just to see if I get along with just like the author's storytelling in general. But I also still want to just finish the Red Roses and Regrets series, which isn't even complete yet, but yeah, that's another potential. And the last potential favorite author that I've read so far is Coralie Corathon, which I really hope I pronounced that right. And I wrote down the names in my notebook, but I cannot remember how the last name is spelled, and I cannot read my handwriting either. And so I'm thinking it's Corathon. But anyway, that actually leads into the next book that I'm going to talk about, which is Books That Made You Cry, and that is Daughters of Jubilation, which is by Coralie. And I think just the fact that this author made me cry is already guaranteeing her a spot in like one of my favorites. I really want to see something else that she writes, and she's written for like the show You, which is one of my favorite shows ever, and I just really liked her characterization. I really liked the world building that she did in Daughters of Jubilation. The ending of Daughters of Jubilation was just so powerful for me, and I just, even now, like I'm just thinking about like what actually happened, and it still hurts a little bit, but like it was such a great ending, and I just remember so vividly feeling like so sad and like just upset about like what happened, that like I was like, if an author can bring out that kind of emotion in me, because I rarely cry, but if I can cry reading a book, like even just tearing up a little bit, like that's crazy to me. And so that's why Coralie has to be on like a potential favorite, and I'm really hoping that they write something else. But yeah, that's also a book that made me cry. The next prompt is a book that made me happy, and for this one I'm going to go with Wash Day Diaries. It was just so comforting, and I really like the friendship in it, and just like the way that the women were just there for each other, and I just really like the diverse experiences that all of them were having with their hair, showing women that were getting like braids, some that cut their hair, and some that wore wigs and all of that. Like I just really liked seeing all of that in just one book. And it didn't really have like a plot or anything, but it's just a comforting read that I just enjoyed. The next prompt is the most beautiful book that you've bought this year, and I've been trying not to buy as many books as I did in the first quarter, which has failed tremendously, because like not even 5 days into like this second quarter, like I saw this on Pango Books and I decided that I'm going to buy it. Partially because I saw two other booktubers, Joshana and Priest channels. Like I just felt like I wanted to have a copy, and I'm also just very into like vampires, and so I'm really hoping that I enjoy it, and if not, it's just a beautiful copy. And so this book is A Dowry of Blood, and I don't even know what edition this is. What is this? Oh, the bookish box, that's what it is. And I just really love it. Like, I don't know. I don't know. And I've never really splurged on like a special edition of a book, because most of the time, like I don't really care for the books to really buy like a $60 copy of a book. And this one was like, I don't even remember, but it was like a little bit less than $60, I want to say. And the only reason why I bought this book in this edition is because like I really do think that I'm going to enjoy this story a lot, just based on the fact that it's about vampires, and I really just dig the whole vampire aesthetic. But I also just really think that the darkness of this Dracula story told from a Dracula bride is just going to be just for me. And so I'm really just excited to have this copy and to read it, and I'm just so happy to have it. And the last prompt for this mid-year book freakout tag is books that I need to read before the end of the year. And without fail, I will say that the 23 books that I said I was going to read this year, I have only read one of them. And I will say with caveat that I have tried to read about 2 to 3 of them, and I DNF'd all 3 of those. And so I would have had like 4 or 5 done by now at least, but I did not like any of those, and I did not want to pushed myself to read something that I wasn't enjoying. So I need to select new books to like replace those, but even then, like the other books I haven't even picked up yet. And yeah, like I said at the beginning, like we're already 6 months into a year. It's going to be rough trying to get all, like, what is that, 22 books that I need to read still. 22 books in the next 6 months that I need to read the 23 books that I wanted to read for 2023. It's going to be rough, but we will see how that goes. But that wraps up my mid-year book freakout tag for 2023. I really hope that you have enjoyed it. I'd be very curious to know, what is your best book of this year? I'm definitely on the lookout for some great reads. I feel like my reading this year so far has just been pretty average, with like a few standouts but not any new favorites. And so definitely let me know any of your favorite books so far this year, and I'll try to pick them up if I think that they sound interesting to me. And if you don't want to leave a comment about your favorite book so far this year, let's leave a dagger for, I guess, this, because I guess on the back it shows her holding a dagger. And so let's leave a dagger for A Dowry of Blood. But again, I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!